welcome back to the Maximum Cricket Podcast. My name is Matt Hunter, and this is day 3 of the fifth. It's a test between England and
Maximum, the first of this contest. Oh, that is brilliant. The hero maximum on the ground, down the ground, another hero maximum.
Okay, so the start of the day, England were 84 for 5 in all sorts of trouble, and they needed a special innings from Bairstow and Stokes, and they got one of those. Stokes got through to 25, but at 149 for 6, he tries to go bang over top of mid-off, doesn't quite clear it. Bomber takes an absolute screamer, captain v captain. Although Jonny did the business. Now, I read a stat, this was from Verena Sawag. There was a bit of banter, well, I won't call it banter, a bit more than banter between Mr. Kohli and Mr. Bairstow. Now, wouldn't recommend riling up Bairstow because, as we know, Jonny was 12 of 47 going into today's play, looking a shell of himself. His strike rate before the sledging, 25. His strike rate after, 150. So you know what's going to happen. What more is there really to say about Jonny? Another 100. 106 off 140 balls. 3 in 3 tests. 3 in 4 innings. That's wild, by the way. This one could be his best. This could be his best. They're all great in their own way, but just in terms of batsmanship, this has got to be up there because, I mean, it's one thing going pedal down the whole innings, and it's another, he's actually shown a bit of grit, a bit of determination the night before. He's obviously wanted to get through a bit, and that's the thing about Jonny is he's got so many shots that he can score so quickly, but it's not really taking too much of a risk. He's just got the ability to score in so many different areas. It's funny, all those people that at the start of the summer, they wanted Harry Brook in there instead of Jonny. Well, that looks silly, doesn't it? Especially since Jonny, before this summer even started, he was still averaging 50 odd. He's probably closer to 100, at the end of this test by the way he's going. And the other thing is, Harry Brook was scoring a hell of a lot of runs in the county championship, and that is just fine. But, IPL's pretty good too. IPL's pretty good. A lot of people saying, oh, you can't prepare for test cricket by playing IPL. Well, turns out if you're just a good player, you can adapt. That's what happens. Having said all that, they did finally get Jonny out before he really took the game away. And he just were able to chip away via seamers, Bumrah, Shami and Siraj. They took 9 between them. Takor didn't do a hell of a lot. I think, what were his figures? Yeah, he got the important wicket of Stokes, so that's cool. But 7 overs to 48, that's almost 7 and over. So Jonny took a bit of a liking to him, as he does. So I just wonder if that spot should have gone to Ashwin. Although in saying that, Jadeja bowled 2 overs, only for 3 runs. So maybe he could have bowled a hell of a lot more. So that was interesting. I do think they've got in their head that they have to bowl seam all the time. And normally probably would be right. However, it's definitely not doing as much as a normal England summer because of those Dukes balls. They seem to be old. And Billings made a decent 30-odd. He looked good. Good to see him scoring a couple of runs. Potts gave it a wee whack, 19 or 20, depending on how you want to look at it. 3 fours and a 6. So they dragged England up to 284. Only 130-odd behind 416. India's still well on top. But you just have this feeling like if England can get a good start, get a roll on, if they bowl India out for 200, that leaves them 330. You just wonder how much can this England team chase? You just wouldn't put anything past them at this moment. England got off to the perfect start. Anderson just doing what Anderson does, bowling an absolute brutal delivery to Shubman Gill. Third ball in, just sort of rised off a length. There was a few of those balls that are rising off a length. Kohli gets one later. We'll talk about that. But this one here hit the shoulder of the bat right through to Crawley. And I feel for Shubman Gill. I just feel like if he doesn't have a successful test career, something's gone wrong. He just looks too good. He looks way too good. He looks unbelievable in that Australian series, made his debut, and it just hasn't quite continued on from that. So, yeah, England on top, 4 for 1. Then they get Vihari at 40-odd for 2. Broad gets him. Vihari 11 off 44. You just felt like it was always going to happen, didn't you? I mean, he just didn't look like scoring at all. Broad, it would be typical Broad to concede 35 off and over, the most expensive test over in the history of the game, and then second innings turn around and take 7 for spit. Hasn't happened yet, but it wouldn't surprise me. So that leaves Kohli and Pujara to do the business. Pujara just banned the wall, just not looking like getting out. Kohli started to look like his old self. Couple of good boundaries, and then he just got probably the ball of the test from Benjamin Stokes. Now, this is what I was talking about with the just rising off a length, and I wonder if it gets worse as the test goes. Actually, they showed in the broadcast, there was one ball where Kohli left it from wider, and it just sort of angled in and probably missed off stump by another stump, potentially, give or take. And this ball here angled in, so it pitched closer to Kohli, so it had to play. And then it sort of angled in, nipped away, but also like bounced up, hit Kohli on the glove. And now Billings, he'll be owing Mr. Joe Root a beer, that's for sure. He drops probably relatively simple chance, and then it doesn't just pop up, and then Root's got plenty of time. It actually just pops straight down, and Root sticks the old right mid out. And that's actually quite well done from Root, because if they drop there, you know, and it's not like Kohli's in amazing form, but, you know, that could be in the catalyst for him to get back. So at 70 off for 3, India only 200 ahead. You're starting to think, here we go. If India could get bowled out for about 200, like I said, 330 chase, that is on. That brought in Rishabh Pant to the crease. Now, this is probably the end of the good stuff for England, unfortunately. They weren't able to make another breakthrough. So I think it's about 50-odd partnership. Rishabh Pant was 30-odd not out of 46 balls. We have to give the man flowers. Pujara, 50 not out at the close of play. Absolute discarded from the test team not that long ago. Didn't need him. I don't know if this was part of his plan or not, or it was just the next sort of career move. But taking that county contract for Sussex has been an absolute masterstroke. Not thousands, but plenty of runs scored for Pujara, and just forced his way back into this team, this Indian team, for this one test. And if he can just continue on his merry way, they can't really leave him out, because Vihari doesn't look great. So does Pujara just go back into that number 3 spot when Sharma and that come back? I don't know. Potentially. This is a very crucial night. Look, it's slow, but that's how he bats, and that's okay. That's one of the beauties of, I guess, like a Rahul Dravid as a coach, is you've got 2 different batting styles. You've got Pujara, you've got Rishabh Pant, and he allows them to just be them, you know? He's not asking Pant to play a certain way. He's not asking Pujara to play a certain way. He's asking Pujara to be Pujara and Pant to be Pant, and make the best decisions they think under pressure, which they've been doing well so far. So Pant, he scores quickly. There was an interesting moment towards the end, and it might have been something to do with just seeing off the day, but when Root bowled round the wicket to Pant, they set this interesting offside field. They had like a sort of like a 3/4 third man for like a reverse sweep. They had a deep cover, a deep mid-off, and Root just bowled wide outside of the off stump into the footmarks, and just sort of spinning away. And he was looking for that same dismissal in the first innings where he tries to do a big booming cover drive, caught the slip, and Pant just sort of let it go. He let it go. There was even a wide outside the off stump, which you don't see much in Test cricket, to be fair. And yeah, that was quite interesting. So interesting to see if Pant lets that go tomorrow. But yeah, so going into day 4, India's still well on top. I mean, what are they here by? 230, almost 260. So, look, England need wickets pretty quickly, because the thing is, India, they're up 2-1. They don't need a result, nor should they feel like they have to go for a result. We all want them to set a declaration, but if they just bat, I mean, they could bat. They'll bat 2 days if they can. They probably won't, but they could if they won't. And if If Rishabh Pant spends any time, if he spends a session, this test is definitely over. England will need him out pronto. Pujara, he's slow enough where you can sort of get wickets around him, but it's a big first hour tomorrow, I would say. So, yes, India on top. England, you just never know. What could they chase? 400? Is that too much? I'd love to see it. Righto, join us tomorrow for day 4 of this test between England and India. See you then.